All right, let's dive right into this explainer and uncover why the Atacama Desert in northern Chile is so incredibly dry, yet somehow filled with these just astonishing secrets. Today, we're taking a fascinating journey to a place that challenges basically everything we know about how life, nature, and even our own technology adapt to absolute extremes. We're going to break down the science, the survival tactics, and the hidden treasures of a seemingly desolate land.
Imagine waking up under a bright blue sky every single day. A week passes, a month goes by, an entire year, and still not a single drop of rain falls. Now imagine that completely dry streak continuing, not just for 10 years or even 50 years, but for entire generations. I mean, it truly sounds like a scene pulled straight out of a sci-fi movie set on another planet, right? But believe it or not, this is the daily reality in the Atacama Desert.
And we're talking about a staggering 100,000 square kilometers. That is the sheer scale of the landscape here. This isn't just a tiny, isolated patch of dry sand. It's an absolutely massive, sprawling expanse of rocky plains and giant salt flats that stretches mostly across the Pacific coast of northern Chile, but also reaches right into parts of Peru, Bolivia, and Argentina. At first glance, it just looks entirely empty, like a vast territory completely untouched by time.
Part 1. The Great Dry Mystery.
So how does the place actually get this dry? Well, it's basically nature pulling off a perfect storm. First off, you've got the towering Andes Mountains acting like a massive physical wall, completely blocking any moist air trying to come over from the Amazon rainforest. Second, the freezing cold Humboldt Current chills the air over the Pacific Ocean, which makes it incredibly difficult for rain clouds to even form in the first place. And finally, you have these relentless high-pressure weather systems keeping those skies crystal clear for most of the year. When you combine those three forces, almost zero rain reaches the desert. That's exactly why parts of the Atacama can remain bone dry for years, decades, or honestly, even longer. Now, you might be picturing just an endless, boring expanse of beige sand, right? Actually, it's far from it. It's a landscape that literally glows with beautiful shades of orange, red, pink, and gold, especially during sunrise and sunset. This dry mystery leaves us with this alien but stunningly beautiful environment. We're talking giant salt fields that sparkle just like snow, towering ancient volcanoes reaching up into the sky, and massive lava flows that have been shaped by millions of years of relentless wind. It's just visually spectacular.
Part 2. Life defies the odds.
You know, human creativity is simply incredible. Since rainfall is so insanely rare, the thousands of people living in the towns and cities throughout this region have had to brilliantly adapt. They rely on underground water, rivers flowing down from the Andes, and some incredibly clever technology like fog nets. Local communities literally set up these large mesh nets to trap tiny water droplets straight out of the thick ocean fog that rolls in. That captured moisture is then collected and used for daily drinking water and even farming. They are, quite literally, harvesting water out of thin air. And when you look closely at this harshness, you see nature has its own remarkable survival arsenal. Small plants have evolved to store water for intense periods of drought, holding on to absolutely every drop. Tiny insects actually do exactly what those fog nets do. They physically collect moisture from the morning fog right on their own bodies. You've got foxes that strategically hunt only during the much cooler hours of the day. And incredibly, you even have flamingos gathering at super salty lakes to feast on the rich algae and tiny organisms living there. Nature always finds a way.
All of this creates one of the most stunning miracles in the natural world, the Desierto Florido, or the flowering desert. What looks like a completely lifeless illusion, where seeds hide totally dormant underground for years, completely invisible to the naked eye, is actually a vibrant reality just waiting to happen. When that incredibly rare rainfall finally does hit the ground, those seeds suddenly wake up. Within days, this seemingly dead landscape explodes into a giant, colorful natural garden filled with purple, yellow, white, and pink blossoms. It is a phenomenal transformation, proving life is just waiting right there beneath the surface. Moving on to Part 3, Earth's Window to Space.
This extreme environment actually creates an astronomer's absolute paradise, because the Atacama has some of the clearest skies anywhere on Earth, coupled with virtually no clouds, incredibly clean and dry air, and almost zero light pollution. It is completely unmatched for stargazing. Scientists from all over the world have built some of the most powerful observatories right here on this dry dirt to study stars, galaxies, planets, and even black holes in unparalleled detail. Every single night, the sky above this desert becomes a breathtaking, unobstructed display of the universe.
But get this, it's not just about looking up.
The Atacama is literally NASA's testing ground for Mars. The dry, rocky surface, the harsh soil, and the extreme weather conditions here resemble the surface of Mars more closely than almost any other place on our planet. So before NASA and other space agencies send billion-dollar robotic equipment and rovers millions of miles out into the solar system, they bring them right here to the Atacama to test them out. By studying this desert, we are actively learning how life might survive on other planets.
Finally, Part 4, Treasures Beneath the Sand.
So why does this remote desert matter so much to you and me right now? Well, beneath that dry surface lie massive deposits of two absolutely critical minerals, copper and lithium. Copper is basically the backbone of our modern electrical grids and construction. But even more importantly today, lithium is the key ingredient used to make the rechargeable batteries inside your smartphone, your laptop, and the rapidly growing market of electric vehicles. The technology you and I rely on every single day is literally powered by materials pulled straight out of this ancient dry desert.
However, there is a catch. As with all natural resources, extracting these treasures brings immense challenges. Mining these essential minerals requires incredibly large amounts of water, a resource that, as we've definitely established today, is already dangerously scarce here. On top of that, climate change is beginning to threaten these delicate, perfectly balanced ecosystems. Going forward, scientists, environmentalists, and industries face the tough challenge of balancing our world's economic and technological development with the vital need to protect the wildlife and this timeless natural habitat.
Seeing how nature continually finds a way to not just survive, but to fuel our modern world and help us reach the stars from a place where survival seems almost impossible, I have a final question for you. Would you want to visit this alien world on Earth? Would you travel to the driest desert on our planet to witness these glowing sunsets, blooming flowers, and starry skies for yourself? Take a moment to think about it. It truly is a testament to the absolute resilience of life. Thank you so much for exploring this incredible environment with me on today's Explainer, and keep staying curious.